Will you watch signal from that side? And I will back you up.
Parents and guardians told to avail their children and wards of the state's childhood tuberculosis testing week. Federal government invites organized labor for continuation of the minimum wage negotiations. Speaker of State House of Assembly appeals to the striking members of the state branch of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria to call off industrial action. And abroad, European Union and 26 countries increase support for Taiwan's participation in 77th edition of World Health Assembly in Geneva. Good evening and welcome to the Delta Television News at 8. I am Ogaga Ekama. Parents and guardians, particularly mothers, have been advised to avail their children and wards the Childhood Tuberculosis Testing Week to prevent the spread of the disease and ensure a healthier future for every child. The wife of the state governor and founder You Matter Charity Foundation, Dickness Tobare Oberewori, gave the advice during this year's Childhood Tuberculosis Testing Week flag-off held at the Women Affairs Primary School, Asaba. Florence Oyibodoro reports.
Tuberculosis is an infectious bacteria causing disease that affects the body, especially the lungs. Flagging off the National Childhood Tuberculosis Testing Week, Dickness Oberewori said the initiative was crucial to safeguarding the health and well-being of children in the state. She said over 70% of children were undiagnosed despite efforts by stakeholders, noting that in Africa, a child dies of tuberculosis every 3 minutes. The governor's wife reaffirmed the commitment of the present administration to providing affordable health care for all Deltans and enjoined parents and guardians to ensure that their children and wards benefited from the screening, diagnosis and treatment week.
Let us remember the purpose of this week. It is not about testing. It is about ensuring a healthier future for our children. We must work together to raise awareness, provide access to testing facilities, and encourage early intervention.
The State Commissioner of Health, Dr. Joseph Onojame, said TB was a major public health challenge globally, stressing that out of over 361 TB cases reported in Nigeria last year, 9% were children. He called for collaboration from partners in raising awareness on childhood TB, its symptoms, early detection and treatment.
These numbers underscore the urgency of our efforts to detect and treat TB early, especially among the young population.
In a goodwill message, the representatives of the World Health Organization, WHO, and other partners reiterated their support towards eradication of tuberculosis by 2030 in line with the Sustainable Development Goals, SDG, of the United Nations.
We should continue to create this awareness and continue to invest in TB case detection and treatment.
The event featured the demonstration of sample collection by the governor's wife and the use of the mobile digital X-ray machine. Florence Oyibodoro reporting.
The Speaker of the State House of Assembly, the Right Honorable Emomotimi Guo, has appealed to the striking members of the state branch of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN, to call off their industrial action and allow the committee set up by the state government on the matter to conclude its assignment. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Ikem Weke, Honorable Guo said it was unfortunate and more worrisome that the workers chose to commence the industrial action while the Deltans were still celebrating the milestones achieved by Governor Sheriff Oborevwori within just a year. He expressed reservations that a section of the media capitalized on the situation to misinform the public, noting that the issue at stake had nothing to do with the owing of salaries, as the state government was up to date with payments of salaries of staff of the three arms of government. The Speaker clarified that the main agitation was the implementation of the Consolidated Legislative Salary Scheme, CONLES, in Delta State, which centered on enhanced salary structures for the workers, noting that the matter was a national one that had reached an advanced stage for implementation in Delta State. Honorable Guo acknowledged the right of the workers to agitate for enhanced salary package, but advised that they should continue to explore dialogue in achieving their aims. He thanked Deltans and other stakeholders who had expressed concern over the development, while giving an assurance that the matter would be resolved as soon as possible. Governor Sheriff Oborevwori has congratulated a former presidential liaison advisor, Dr. Esther Udwehi, on her 77th birth anniversary. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Sir Festus Ahon, Governor Oborevwori lauded Dr. Udwehi for her outstanding contributions to nation building. The governor described Dr. Udwehi as an illustrious Deltan from Obiaruku in Ukwani local government area, an educationist, administrator, astute politician, and retired permanent secretary. He said Dr. Udwehi is founder, president of the League of Women Voters of Nigeria, NILO, and was appointed first female council chairman in Nigeria when she headed Orionwa local government from 1978 to 1980. Governor Oborevwori said that Dr. Udwehi had made remarkable contributions to the development of Nigeria, especially as a one-time local government chairman, retired permanent secretary in the defunct Bendo State Civil Service, presidential liaison advisor, House of Representatives, where she served as special advisor to the President of Nigeria, as a liaison with the House of Representatives and chairman governing board of the National Commission for Mass Literacy, Adult and Non-Formal Education from 2013 to 2015. President Bola Tinubu has said that the Niger Delta Development Commission, NDDC, has made positive impact on the Niger Delta region. President Tinubu stated this while inaugurating a 600-meter-long bridge in Ibeno, Akwa Ibom State. Represented by the Senate President, Senator Godswill Akpabio, President Tinubu said that the commission had directly touched the lives of Niger Delta people in different ways. He said that the bridge, which linked 20 communities, would enhance socio-economic interactions among residents of the affected communities. President Tinubu said that economic activities, education and social interaction would flourish because of the bridge. He said that the commission did well by constructing the Okitipupa electricity substation, which had connected 5 local government areas in Ondo State to the national grid. The federal government has said it has electrified no fewer than 15 federal universities and teaching hospitals with hybrid solar grids with a combined capacity of 35.5 megawatts. The Chief Executive Officer and Managing Director of the Rural Electrification Agency, Mr. Abba Aliyu, stated this at the just concluded Alliance for Rural Electrification Energy Access Forum in Lagos. Mr. Aliyu disclosed that the aim was to supply 24-hour electricity to 350,000 students while giving 50,000 lecturers access to electricity. He explained that the Nigerian Electrification Project, funded by the World Bank and the African Development Bank, was a $550 million project. The Minister of Interior, Mr. Olubunmi Tunji Ojo, says e-border surveillance is now being mounted across the nation's borders with its neighboring countries. Mr. Tunji Ojo, who disclosed this yesterday on a live national television program, said the e-border became possible through the deployment of technology across the nation's borders. He said the country had begun the command and control center, which has been adjudged as one of the best anywhere in the world. The federal government has again invited organized labor for the continuation of the minimum wage negotiations in Abuja. The organized labor said it would honor the invitation on Tuesday. On Tuesday, the Minimum Wage Committee had adjourned indefinitely after talks between the federal government and organized labor broke down as labor rejected the federal government's 60,000 naira fresh proposal up from the earlier 57,000 naira offer. At the meeting, Labour also lowered its demand by removing 3,000 naira from the 497,000 naira it proposed last week, pegging the new proposal at 494,000 naira. To fast-track the negotiation process, the Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) and the Trade Union Congress (TUC) on May they gave the committee till the end of the month to wrap up talks on a new national minimum wage. The ultimatum will expire tomorrow night. The president of the TUC, Comrade Festus Osifu, said the ultimatum issued by Labour remained following the breakdown of the talks on Tuesday. Meanwhile, the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Honorable Nkiruka Oyejocha, has appealed to organized labour to be considerate and patriotic in their demands in the ongoing negotiation for a new national minimum wage. Honorable Oyejocha made the appeal in a statement in Abuja. The minister said the federal government had consistently taken steps to secure a fair and realistic wage for Nigerian workers. She therefore urged Labour to recognize that the nation's economy was still on the path of recovery from the effect of the pandemic and other economic distress. The minister noted that the government recognized that the economic challenges faced by Nigerians were complex and multifaceted and called for a collective effort for all stakeholders to overcome them. She added that the meeting with organized labor was a significant step in the ongoing efforts to secure a fair and realistic wage for Nigerian workers. The Managing Director, Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian Education Loan Fund, NELFund, Mr. Akintunde Sawyer, has said that 60,000 students from federal tertiary institutions have registered for the student loan scheme since the launch of the portal on Friday. Mr. Sawyer disclosed this today during a press conference in Abuja. He said the agency would start receiving applications from students of state-owned tertiary institutions in 3 weeks. The NELFund boss urged heads of the state-owned institutions to start uploading details of their students on its portal. The student loan scheme will take off with 1.2 million students as beneficiaries. The loan, which is an equivalent of the tuition fees of the benefiting students, will be paid directly to their institutions, but stipends will be paid directly to beneficiaries on a monthly basis to assist them buy other things that can make them comfortable while pursuing their education. The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, has expressed the commission's readiness to conduct a credible governorship election in the forthcoming governorship poll in Edo State. Professor Yakubu gave the assurance during last Friday's heavy downpour that destroyed critical infrastructure at the same INEC office, saying the affected facilities would be repaired or replaced. According to him, since the Edo governorship election is an off-cycle election, the Commission would also borrow equipment from neighboring states to ensure a hitch-free exercise. Professor Yakubu spoke in Benin City while inspecting the damaged facilities. He also monitored the level of compliance with the ongoing Continuous Voters Registration (CVR) and collection of permanent voters cards (PVC). The INEC chairman said the Commission was prepared for the election in Edo State and the next one in Ondo, where he said the CVR would commence very soon. The camp of the Rivers State Governor, Siminalayi Fubara, has recorded a major victory as the State High Court in Port Harcourt issued an order of interlocutory injunction prohibiting Martin Amewule and 25 other pro-Wike lawmakers from presenting themselves as members of the Rivers State House of Assembly. Presided over by Justice C.N. Wali, the court also issued injunctions against Governor Fubara, the State Attorney General of Rivers State, and the Chief Judge of Rivers State. They are prohibited from engaging with or accepting any resolutions, bills, or actions from Amewule and the 24 others. The ruling stems from a suit filed by the Speaker of the Rivers State House of Assembly, Victor Okojumbo, Sokari Goodboy, and Orubunimiga Adolphus Timothy. Justice Wale restrained Amewule and others from conducting legislative functions either in the House of Assembly quarters or elsewhere. Furthermore, the court declared the seats of Amewule and the 24 others vacant until the substantive suit is heard and determined. The case has been adjourned to July 1, 2024 for a motion hearing. The National Orientation Agency, NOA, has directed all community orientation and mobilization officers in the nation's 774 local government areas to commit the reintroduced national anthem to memory by Monday. In a statement, the agency said community officers would be the grassroots marshals for the implementation of the government's new policy. It stated that the directive was part of the organization's efforts to ensure a seamless transition to the new national anthem, adding that the return of the old anthem was part of a national identity project aimed at promoting cohesion and imbuing a sense of patriotism within the citizenry. The NOA said it was working closely with the National Union of Teachers, NUT, to ensure that schools across the country were mobilized to start using the current national anthem. Yesterday, President Bola Tinubu signed a bill reverting to the old national anthem. Still to come, European Union and 26 countries increase support for Taiwan's participation in 77th edition of World Health Assembly in Geneva. Details of this and more coming up shortly.
Where's Glory?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello?
Where's Glory?
Excuse me, ma'am.
Hello? Where Glow now?
I take you.
Don't go village, tell our customer abi.
Everybody pay attention. See, now Globe dedicated 10x. Now they dash me 10 times the credits when I load. Or even summer me double data join.
Yeah. Wait, so with 1.5 when they give all of us, so you they enjoy up to 15,000 naira credit and data.
And I say I never finish you. See, now say if we enjoy if I join Globe dedicated 10x. When I go get 1,000 naira welcome credit. You just carry your phone, dial *777#. Finish.
Correct.
Golo, you don't win, you don't do.
Una still dey here. Hello, please, I'm looking for Glow. Please save now Glow they fine. Now Glow they go. Okay, so
enjoy 10 times the value of your recharge on Glow Berekete 10X. You also get 1,000 naira for calls and data and double data bonus on your subscription.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us on the news. The global scene is next as we join our world news desk.
The European Union and 26 countries have raised support for Taiwan's participation during the 77th edition of the World Health Assembly (WHA) in Geneva, after China exerted pressure to prevent Taiwan from being invited to the conference in previous years. In past years, China pressurized to prevent Taiwan from being invited to the annual World Health Organization (WHO) conference in Switzerland. However, since the COVID-19 pandemic, the number of countries saying the group's Health for All slogan should also apply to Taiwan had been growing. During the May 27 to June 1 event, EU Representative Mark Paxton de Bosworth said the WHO needed to promote international negotiation and cooperation, leaving nobody and no area behind. Germany's Federal Health Minister Karl Lauterbach said the health organization should reduce its bureaucracy and use Taiwan's professional expertise. Moreover, compared to last year, 5 more regions and countries have joined those who are raising their voice in support of Taiwan. According to reports, the newcomers included the EU, the Netherlands, Latvia, New Zealand, and Israel. Health minister and government representatives from the United States, Canada, Japan, Australia, the United Kingdom, the Czech Republic, and Luxembourg also defended the case for Taiwan's attendance. Chinese President Mr. Xi Jinping reiterated calls for the establishment of an independent Palestinian state and promised more humanitarian aid for people in Gaza as he opened a summit with leaders of Arab states today in Beijing. The summit, attended by heads of state from Egypt, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Tunisia, among others, was set to focus on China's expanding trade ties and on security concerns related to the Israel-Hamas war. Mr. Xi restated China's backing of a two-state solution and pledged 500 million yuan, equivalent to $69 million in humanitarian aid for Gaza. He also promised to donate $3 million to a United Nations agency that provides assistance and relief to refugees of the Israel-Hamas war. Beijing and the Arab states back the Palestinians in the conflict, where Israel is facing growing international condemnation after the strike in the southern Gaza city of Rafah, in which at least 45 were killed over the weekend. According to the Gaza Health Ministry, the overall Palestinian death toll in the war exceeds 36,000. Beijing has long backed the Palestinians and denounced Israel over its settlements in the occupied territories. However, China have growing economic ties with Israel. Besides addressing the war, President Xi also called on Arab states to deepen cooperation in areas such as trade, clean energy, space exploration, and healthcare. The first results have been announced from what is seen as South Africa's most closely fought elections since the African National Congress, ANC, came to power 30 years ago. With results from around 14%, voting districts counted so far, the ANC is leading with 43%, followed by the DA with 26%. The radical EFF and the Umkhonto Wesizwe Party, MK Party, of former President Jacob Zuma are both on around 8%. Final results are expected over the weekend. Opinion polls suggest the ANC could lose its majority in parliament for the first time in 30 years, forcing it into a coalition. The ANC had lost support due to anger over a high level of corruption, crime, and unemployment. But it's too early to predict the final outcome. Yesterday's election saw long lines of voters outside poll stations late into the night across the country. One electoral official in Johannesburg told newsmen the queues were reminiscent of the historic 1994 election, when black people could vote for the first time and which saw Nelson Mandela become president. Many thousands of people were still waiting to vote when polls officially closed at 9 p.m. local time, but the Electoral Commission said they would all be allowed to cast their ballots.
Let's join our business news desk for more happenings in the business sector.
The Tomato Growers Association of Nigeria has blamed the current hike in prices of the produce on Tuta absoluta, Sharon insect infestation on local farms across the country. The Kaduna State Chairman of the association, Mr. Rabiu Zuntu, said this in an interview with newsmen today in Lagos. Report says that Tuta absoluta, also known as tomato leaf miner, is a species of moth in the Gelechida pest family. It is a serious pest that attacks tomatoes in Europe, Africa, West Asia, South and Central America, with larvae causing up to 100% loss if not effectively controlled. Mr. Zuntu noted that hike in the prices of tomato was due to shortage of supply caused by the destruction of many farms by the Tuta absoluta insects. Mr. Zuntu urged the government to help forestall the infestation by providing timely interventions to the farmers. Dealers in food items in selected markets across Lagos State have rejected the widespread accusation that they manipulated and inflated prices of food items indiscriminately. They have rather blamed the skyrocketing prices of food items on insecurity in many parts of the country, which they said had hampered supplies from farmers across the country. The accusation had led the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission to embark on a fact-finding mission to markets across the country. Speaking in an interaction with the FCCPC mission yesterday, chairman of My 12 International Perishable Markets in Lagos, Alhaji Shehu Usman, said the reason for rising cost of food items is because most farmers have been chased away from the farm by bandits, and many of them are now in IDP camps. Chairman of Ilepo Kodo Market, Alhaji Taufik Olorunkemi, also told the FCCPC officials that insecurity is the major issue in the rising prices of food items because the farmers are not able to go to the farm due to the menace of kidnapping. Worried by the growing impact of inflating exchange rates for calculating import duties at the ports, the Presidential Committee on Fiscal Policy and Tax Reforms has advised the federal government to adopt an exchange rate of 800 naira per dollar for computing custom import duty. Mr. Taiwo Oyedele, chairman of the committee, said this in Lagos today while engaging journalists on the activities of the tax panel. Mr. Oyedele expressed concern over the import duty rate, which constantly changes due to the volatility of the foreign exchange market. Report says the exchange rate for computing custom duties has been witnessing rapid adjustment by the Central Bank of Nigeria. The committee's proposal aligns with the popular opinion of industry stakeholders who called for hedging of exchange rate for custom duties.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, CJN Justice Olukayode Ariwoola, has summoned the Chief Judge of the Federal High Court, Justice John Soho, and his counterparts in Kano State, Justice DJ Aboki, over the recent conflicting orders emanating from the courts under them. Report says that the two courts had given conflicting orders that has cast a shadow over the leadership dynamics within the Kano Emirate, prompting the CJN's intervention to prevent further escalation and confusion. Meanwhile, the Kano State High Court had given orders in favor of the 16th Emir of Kano, Mohammed Sanusi. The Federal High Court had backed the dethroned 15th Emir, Aminu Ado Bayero. Following CJN's decision to invite the two Chief Justices, the National Judicial Council (NJC) has scheduled an emergency meeting for next week where the duo would also be invited and subjected to serious investigations. This was disclosed in a statement signed by the Director of Information and the National Judicial Council, Mr. Soji Oye, who said that both Chief Judges were scheduled to have a meeting with the Chief Justice of Nigeria. The Supreme Court today gave the 36 state governors of the Federation 7 days to file their defense in the suit brought against them by the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, and Minister of Justice, Mr. Lateef Fagbemi, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. The Apex Court issued the AGF 2 days to file its reply upon receipt of the governor's defense. A 7-man panel of the court led by Justice Garba Lawal issued the order while ruling in the application for abridgment of time argued by Mr. Fagbemi. He held that the decision of the court was predicated on the national urgency of the suit and the non-objection from the Attorneys General of the states of the Federation. The Apex Court held that filing of all processes and exchanging of same must be completed within the time frame. The court also ordered all state attorneys general absent to be present in court on the adjourned date. The Nigeria Wrestling Federation (NWF) has commenced training camp in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State ahead of the 2024 Olympic Games. The NWF president, Mr. Daniel Igali, said the move was to ensure the wrestlers perform optimally at the Games. 6 athletes, 1 male and 5 females, will represent Nigeria at the Paris 2024 Games. The athletes are 68 kg Blessing Oborodudu, 57 kg Odunayo Adekuroye, 53 kg Ogusonya Christina, and Esther Kolawole 62 kg. while 125 kg is Ashton Mutua. Recall that earlier this month, the Wrestling Federation also sponsored a 2-week camp for the wrestlers prior to Mercy Genesis' participation at the World Wrestling Olympic qualifier in Istanbul, Turkey. Over now to the thought for the day. Strength and growth comes only through continuous effort and struggle. To end the news, here again are the main points. Parents and guardians, particularly mothers, have been advised to avail their children and wards the Childhood Tuberculosis Testing Week to prevent the spread of the disease and ensure a healthier future for every child. The wife of the state governor and founder You Matter Charity Foundation, Dickiness Tobere Oberewori, gave the advice during this year's Childhood Tuberculosis Testing Week flag-off held at the Women Affairs Primary School, Asaba. The federal government has again invited organized labor for the continuation of the minimum wage negotiations in Abuja. The organized labor said it would honor the invitation. We also told you that the Speaker of the State House of Assembly, the Right Honorable Emomotimi Guo, has appealed to the striking members of the state branch of the Parliamentary Staff Association of Nigeria, PASAN, to call off their industrial action and allow the committee set up by the government on the matter to conclude its assignment. In a statement by his Chief Press Secretary, Mr. Ike Mweke, Honorable Guo said it was more worrisome that the workers chose to commence the industrial action when Deltans were still celebrating the milestones achieved by Governor Sheriff within just 1 year. And abroad, the European Union and 20 countries have raised support for Taiwan's participation during the 77th edition of the World Health Assembly in Geneva after China exerted pressure to prevent Taiwan from being invited to the conference in previous years. That's the news. Thank you so much for watching. I am Ogaga Ikama. Good evening.